Okay, class, welcome to chapter 20. As usual, we're going to work through two problems to show you how to do the problems and to get you started on your homework. As always, if you have any questions on any of the other problems or any of the concepts, please reach out to me and I'll be absolutely happy to either meet with you to go through the problem or send you a video such as this one. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see my Excel document. And this is homework for chapter 20. And we're going to start with question number 1. You'll see me looking down as usual in these videos because I have the question on my phone so that I'm not toggling back and forth between screens. So this is exercise 20-3. You can find it at the back of the chapter in your textbook, but it's also question number 1 on your homework. And it's a production budget. So you're trying to figure out how many units do I need to produce in each month in order to meet the number of units that I need to sell, and also to have the number of units remaining in my inventory that I want to carry over to next month, so that next month I'm not starting from 0 units. So I can still start selling some of the items while I produce more. So that's this whole concept. So the question is for Ruiz Company, and it says Ruiz Company produces the following budgeted sales for the next 4 months. The company wants to end each month with ending finished goods inventory equal to 25% of next month's budgeted unit sales. Finished goods inventory on April 1st is 125 units. Prepare a production budget for the months of April, May, and June. All right, so you see I have it set up here already with the company name and it's a production budget. I have my item, I have April, May, June. So the first item that I'm going to put here is my budgeted sales units. And the question gives me these numbers. It says that for April, my budgeted sales units are 500. It says that for May, my budgeted sales units are 580. And for June, my budgeted sales units are 540. Next, I'm going to add my desired ending inventory. Because remember, you're trying to find out how many units do I need in order to have 500 units to sell and also to have the number of ending inventory units that I want in my stock, considering how many units I have already in my inventory. So that's really what we're trying to figure out here. So I'm going to add my desired ending inventory. I'm going to start with my next period budgeted sales units. The reason I'm starting with that is because it tells me in order to calculate my desired ending inventory, I need to consider my next period budgeted sales units and then multiply that by 25%. So I know that my next period after April is May. So my May budgeted sales units are 580. My June budgeted sales units, which I need to consider in May, would be 540. And then what do we have for June? If you look at the question, it tells you the budgeted sales units for July are 620. So I'll put 620 here. Next, it tells me that my ratio of inventory to future sales, and it says it's 25%. Uh-oh, 25%. All right, it's 25% each month. So I'm just going to put 25% here. And when I calculate that, it's going to give me my desired ending inventory units. So I multiply these two numbers, my 580, which is next month's budgeted sales, by the 25%. And that tells me how many units I want in my ending inventory for April that I'll carry over to May, and it'll become my beginning inventory in May. I do the same for May. For May, I want my ending inventory units to be 25% of June's budgeted sales units. So I'm going to multiply my 540 times my 25% and get 135. And then June, it says I want my ending inventory units to be 25% of July's budgeted sales. And the question tells us that July's budgeted sales are 620. So I'm going to multiply the 620 times the 25%. And that gives me my desired ending inventory units. Next, I'm going to calculate my total required units. So in order to sell 500 and in order to have um, an ending inventory of 145, how many units do I need? I just add these two numbers, my 500 plus my 145, and that gives me 645. I'll do the same for May. I'm going to add my budgeted sales to my desired ending inventory, and that'll give me 715. And then for June, I add my budgeted sales, to my desired ending inventory, and that gives me 695. Okay. Now, is that the number that I have to produce? No, because I have some beginning inventory. I already have some units in stock. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract my beginning inventory units. All right. And the question tells me that my finished goods inventory on April 1st is 125 units. So my beginning inventory, my starting inventory, the number of items that I have in stock in April that I do not need to produce because they've already been produced in March are 125. So what this is really telling me is that I need 645 units, but I already have 125 already produced. How many do I need to produce for April? I subtract these two numbers, and that gives me 520, which is units to produce. Similar for May, I need 715. How many do I have in my beginning inventory for May? Remember, our ending inventory units from April become our beginning units in May. All right, so we're going to put 145 here. We're going to subtract these two numbers, and that gives me the number of units that I need to produce. Same here. My beginning inventory would be the ending inventory from last month. So I'm going to put 135 here. I'm going to subtract these two numbers. And that is how we do our production budget. We'll do one more question. We're going to move to question number 3 in the homework. And at the back of the chapter, it's exercise 20-11. And for this one, we're doing for Manor Company, a direct labor budget. So it says, the production budget for Manor Company shows units to produce as follows. July, 620. August, 680. September, 540. Each unit produced requires 2 hours of direct labor. The direct labor rate is budgeted at $20 per hour in July and August, but is budgeted to be $21 per hour in September. Prepare a direct labor budget for the months July, August, September. So we're going to start here. We have to enter in the number of units that we want to produce. So units to produce, the question gives us these numbers. It says in July, I want to produce 620. In August, I want to produce 680. And in September, I want to produce 540. Now, the next item I'm going to enter is the direct labor hours required per unit. And the question tells me each unit requires 2 hours of direct labor. So I'm just going to put 2 for each of these. All right. So I want to make 620 units in July. Each of those units is going to take 2 hours. So that gives me my direct labor hours needed, which would be 620 times 2. For August, it'll be 680 times 2. And for September, it'll be 540 times 2. All right. So those are the direct labor hours needed. Now I'm going to put my direct labor cost per hour. The question tells me in July, it's going to be $20. In August, it's going to be $20, but in September, it's going to be $21. All right. So the question gives me those numbers. So now to figure out my cost of direct labor, I just multiply these two numbers. I need 1,240 hours. It's going to be $20 an hour. Voila. I'm going to spend $24,800. In August, $27,200. And in September, 22,680. And that is how you solve this problem. Thank you.